I'm standing in my future mother-in-law's living room, heart pounding as she smugly tells me I'm not good enough for her son. So I did the unthinkable. I broke up with him right in front of her. What happened next? Oh, it was glorious. Stick around for a revenge story so satisfying, it'll leave you cheering. If you've ever been disrespected, underestimated, or pushed too far, this one's for you. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and let's dive into a Reddit revenge story that'll have you glued to your screen. Ready for some sweet, sweet justice? Let's go. The air felt thick with tension every time I stepped into my future mother-in-law's house. Her name was Linda, a woman with sharp eyes and an even sharper tongue. From the moment I started dating her son, Michael, she made it crystal clear she didn't think I was worthy. Her words stung like a slap across the face, delivered with a smile that barely hid her disdain. "You're lucky to have him," she'd say, her voice dripping with condescension, "but you need to step up if you're going to be his wife." My job? A cute little gig. My role in her home? Apparently, I was failing at it. Michael and I were a modern couple, splitting life's responsibilities in a way that worked for us. He's an IT specialist, pulling in about 70% of our income, working long hours to save for our dream of owning a home. I work in customer service, which isn't glamorous, but it's grueling double shifts. Endless complaints, and a smile plastered on my face, no matter how exhausted I am. I handle about 70% of the household chores, too, from cooking to cleaning to keeping our lives running smoothly. It's not perfect math, but it's fair. We're a team. Michael loves it, I love it, and we're happy. Or at least we were until Linda's constant jabs started to chip away at me. Her remarks weren't just occasional, they were relentless. Every family gathering, every holiday, she'd find a way to undermine me. At Thanksgiving, she'd loudly comment on how a real wife would have made the turkey herself instead of bringing a store-bought pie. At Christmas, she'd sigh dramatically, saying Michael deserves someone traditional who'd prioritize him over some part-time job. My hands would clench under the table, my jaw tightening as I swallowed my anger. I could feel the heat rising in my chest, the way your body screams to defend itself, but you hold back because, well, it's his mom. Michael always stood up for me, shutting her down with a firm, "Mom, that's enough." But it never stopped her. She'd just roll her eyes and move on to her next attack. What made it worse was how much I loved the rest of Michael's family. His dad was a quiet, kind man who'd slip me an extra slice of cake with a wink. His brother Tom and Tom's wife Sarah were my people. Sarah and I bonded over our shared frustration with Linda's outdated views. She'd whisper, "Ignore her. She's stuck in the 1950s," and we'd laugh it off. But deep down, it wasn't funny. It hurt. I'd lie awake at night, replaying Linda's words, wondering if I really was less than. The injustice of it burned. Here I was, working my butt off, loving her son, and still, I was the villain in her story. New Year's Eve was the final straw. We were at Linda's house, the room buzzing with champagne toasts and laughter. I was in the kitchen, helping Sarah plate desserts, when Linda sauntered in. She looked me up and down, her lips curling into that familiar smirk. "You know," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "it's about time Michael found a traditional wife who knows her place, someone who doesn't treat homemaking like a hobby." The room went silent. My heart pounded in my ears, a mix of humiliation and rage. I looked at Michael, expecting his usual defense, but before he could speak, something in me snapped. I was done. That night, Michael, Tom, Sarah, and I huddled in the guest room, whispering like conspirators in a heist movie. "She needs to learn," I said, my voice shaking with resolve. "And not her punching bag." Sarah's eyes lit up. "What if we make her think she's won?" she suggested. And that's when the plan was born, a fake breakup, staged right in front of Linda, designed to turn her world upside down. Michael was all in, his jaw set with determination. "Let's make her regret every word," he said. Tom and Sarah grinned, ready to play their parts. We'd show her exactly what life without me looked like. The next day, New Year's Day, we set the stage. Linda was in her element, sipping coffee in her pristine living room, ready to dish out more advice. When she started in again, "Michael, you need a wife who puts you first," I seized the moment. My hands trembled, but my voice was steady. "You know what, Linda? You're right." The room froze. Her eyes widened, caught off guard. "I'm not good enough for him. We're done." I turned to Michael, who played his part perfectly, his face crumpling in mock despair. "No, please, don't do this," he begged, his voice cracking just enough to sell it. I grabbed my coat, storming toward the door, my heart racing with adrenaline. Behind me, chaos erupted. Linda stammered, "Wait, I didn't mean," but Sarah cut her off, her tone sharp. "Wow, Linda, are you racist or just cruel?" I nearly broke character at that. It wasn't part of the plan, but it was brilliant. Linda's face turned beet red, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Tom piled on, shaking his head. "Mom, you've gone too far this time." I slammed the door behind me, biting back a grin as I heard Michael's fake sobs echo through the house. The next part of the plan was where the real fun began. Michael moved back home to Linda's, but he didn't make it easy for her. He leaned into the role of the heartbroken, needy son. "Mom, can you make me dinner?" "I miss her cooking," he'd say, piling dishes in the sink. "Can you iron my shirts? She always did it better." He'd leave his laundry everywhere, ask her to help with his New York Times crossword puzzles, and complain about how stressed he was without me. Linda, who'd always preached that a real woman should do these things, was suddenly drowning in the very tasks she'd criticized me for not doing enough. Meanwhile, I stayed at my apartment, ignoring her calls. My phone buzzed nonstop voicemails from Linda, each one more frantic than the last. "Please, we need to talk," she'd say, her voice trembling. I didn't respond. Let her stew, I thought, savoring the justice of it. 8 days in, she showed up at my workplace, a coffee shop buzzing with customers. My stomach dropped when I saw her, but I kept my cool. She looked like a wreck, eyes puffy, hair disheveled, clutching a gift basket like a lifeline. "I'm sorry," she blurted out, loud enough for my coworkers to hear. "I was wrong. Please, take him back. What came next floored me." Through tears, she confessed everything. She'd assumed I loved Michael so much I'd put up with her insults. She thought if she pushed me hard enough, I'd do more chores, freeing up Michael's time for her. She admitted to believing my customer service job was easy compared to Michael's IT work, dismissing how draining it is to deal with angry customers all day. And then the kicker, she called Michael lazy. "He's not pulling his weight," she sobbed. "You're better than he deserves." I stood there, stunned, as years of resentment melted into a strange mix of pity and triumph. I let her squirm for a moment before reluctantly agreeing to take Michael back. "I'll think about it," I said coolly, watching her face light up with desperate hope. The next day, a gift basket arrived at my apartment, seized candies. My favorite, wrapped in a bow with a note. "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." Michael later admitted he'd amped up his neediness after day 2, missing me and wanting to push Linda to her breaking point. It worked. When I walked back into Linda's house, her relief was palpable. She hugged me, something she'd never done before, and promised to stay out of our relationship. Michael, grinning behind her, gave me a subtle thumb up. The look on her face, part shame, part defeat, was everything I'd hoped for. For once, I wasn't the one shrinking under her gaze. I felt tall, powerful, seen. The woman who'd spent years tearing me down was now begging for my forgiveness. And I'd won without ever raising my voice. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't about destruction, it's about showing someone exactly what they've taken for granted. Linda learned the hard way that respect isn't optional, and me? I learned that standing up for myself doesn't always mean a fight. Sometimes it means letting someone's own words come back to bite them. What do you think? Did she get what she deserved? If this story gave you that rush of justice, smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Subscribe for more Reddit stories that'll keep you hooked, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay savage.